Throughout gaming as a whole, I think we can all agree that regardless of what game we play as the player, it is vitally important that the game must be good. I know, crazy, right? But due to that core concept, playing games try to set and fulfill that goal while also establishing a theme for a game, and to be able to do so, we usually go down one of two paths. Either we limit the player to go down a narrow and scripted path in order to experience certain events at certain times, and a great example of this is Call of Duty. Any of the older ones, because I haven't really caught up to the newer ones to tell for sure. Or we go with a more open-minded approach, trusting that the player will be able to establish a neuron activation and thus can make the game feel more alive and reactive to your actions, while also exploring and having fun while they play the game at their own pace, such as Far Cry. But there is also a rarity, which mixes the two together in a way so that you, the player, follow a certain route and pathway, but give you enough of exploration opportunities to make it feel unique. And for me, a great example of this is The Last of Us. Then there are some downright outliers that set out to go one way but end up going completely the other. Introducing Subnautica, the game that looks like wonders in exploration and very quickly becomes a thalassophobia-inducing experience. However, I'm sure that you already know that as a fact, regardless of whether or not you have played the game. And today in this video, I wanted to dive deep into Subnautica as a game, figure out what it makes it so unique, aside from the enormous bait set up by Steam's explanation of the game. Well, initially it all starts out nice and well as any exploding and crashing spaceship goes, where we first make it out to a lifeboat that appears to be capable of holding at least 2 people, but is said to be capable for more, and say nah, and proceed to immediately dip out to only, depending on how you look at it, get karma'd and be the only survivor on the planet. But you don't know that yet. But all seems fairly decent for how bad of an accident you've had thus far. The sky is clear, the ship ain't all that far, so maybe people are still alive, and as soon as you dive in, even get greeted to some lovely music, often which I am risking my non-existent AdSense by copyright, so you just have to trust me if you haven't played the game. After which you start to gather some materials and get some equipment that ranges from absolutely mandatory to some useful ones to a uses only once or twice a lifetime type of tools. Due to the necessary exploration and need to fix your lifeboat, which was damaged by the way, I never mentioned that, and upon repairing your lifeboat, you get flung by a lot of radio messages from other survivors along with their coordinates from the majority. However, there are some exceptions that require you to lose a little bit of brain power or the good old assistance from YouTube to find out more lifeboats that either give you a blueprint or dip in the lore of the game. Get it? Dip in the lore of the game because it is underwater. And we will touch on that later, but for now, I want you locked in to the progression of the game. Those radio locations are located decently close but not right next to your lifeboat, which is good because not only does the game take you out of the well-renowned safe shallows, but also start to work on learning the game mechanics better by scanning parts of damaged gear from the Aurora to be able to craft them yourself. And by now, you should have built the Sea Glide for faster transportation around the map. But now, more importantly, you will notice that wreckages and blueprints exist outside of your little safe area and into deeper territory, and just before you know it, you ventured into the wrong waters and boom. Reaper Leviathan ready to steal your girl and put you into crippling debt, and then you quit, uninstall the game, and that's the video. See you in the next one. But all jokes aside, 90% of players will have a random ass encounter with a Leviathan, which at first is most likely the Reefback. You know, that gentle giant that does jack all, and even gives you some materials because it holds a cropstone. However, a lot of players will tell you that the first time they saw those 4 mandibles on the Reaper's face is quite something, and then that sets the tone and pace for the rest of the game. Every time you see a new creature, regardless of the biome or size, you now play with extreme caution. This is not a bad thing, as we all need something to keep us on our toes since we are trying to survive on an alien planet after all. Here, I would like to take the time to talk about the environment a little bit. I can tell you without a singular doubt that the devs nailed all of the environmental necessities needed for an immersive gameplay loop and experience to the core. The ambient music as you enter a new biome, along with its own color pattern, like the kelp forest with its vines and atmosphere, and the glassy plateaus being red, Crash Zone being all murky from the sand from the crash, hence the name. The beautiful Grand Reef and more are all unique with their own set of blueprints, vast landscapes, and of course, big juicy fish that is ready to eat you whole. Here's a good time to mention the game's sheer brilliance when it comes to its progression. You don't have to do anything at all on purpose really, aside from the ending, as it all naturally unfolds in front of your eyes. As you get the basic resources, you get the basic equipment, which allows you to go slightly deeper and get better stuff, such as transportation vehicles, which allow you to go deeper and get better stuff, and the cycle repeats. The interesting thing here is as you build your base, you may need to either get an ore or further scans of a building compartment in order to complete your base. So naturally you go off and search, and that's how you come along the vast cave systems that lead to 1. Better stuff, and 2. more giant fish that want to eat you, so on and so forth. And before you know it, you have reached the deepest part of the game, which kind of means the end of it as well. But here's how it all goes. I'm obviously going to say spoilers here, but honestly I think you know that already. I've already discussed the game in terms of a gameplay progression, but how does the rest hold up? In all honesty, brilliantly as well, for the same formula is applied here, but only with a twist. You don't get one story, but rather three, which all unfolds as you, generally speaking, go deeper. The story of the Degassi crew, the aliens, and of course what must be a universe-wide bacteria that infects and eliminates billions of lives from the aliens known as precursors alone. The precursors were on this planet for quite some time, according to info logs that the game provides us with, and tried to cure not only themselves but the planet as well. Yeah, it didn't work out, but they were able to get pretty close. Close enough in fact that it was borderline set up for us to finish. Why weren't the precursors able to kill Kara? Well, because they weren't biological. But we are. Well, our body is anyways. And apparently because of that, the Sea Emperor wasn't able to telepathically communicate with them. Explanation for this? Plot. Regardless, the fact that a sea dragon rammed an alien facility because it wanted to protect its unhatched baby was enough for things to start making sense as to how the Kara got leaked into the waters of the planet, where soon after everything started to collapse, being the reason as to why we're all alone. Turns out that is a good thing, due to the realization of how Below Zero works with NPCs. Needless to say, it was a resounding W for the lads over at Unknown Worlds, where unfortunately Below Zero takes mad L's, but that is a video for another time. Now, even though the existence of a super advanced alien colony is really cool, along with the bacteria that is really, and I mean really lethal, the real stuff for me came along with the Degassi crew, where we not only find really good blueprints and amazing storytelling as to the survivors and seeing their descent, but also the reason for the entire game. It appears that the Aurora was on a secret mission to find out what the heck happened to these people, and in a sense that mission is a success, but only to some costly returns in all regards. The weird thing, in all honesty, is why did Altera, being this super greedy company that doesn't care about anything else besides profit, decided to send people to find the missing crew after 10 whole years? Like damn. Being stranded on an alien planet for more than a decade is a tough hand to be dealt, and we can later see that the one survivor of that, being Marguerite, wasn't so happy about all that, but that is a different video. The cure to the Kara disease, to enough information about the alien race before you, and even the small amount of people lived long before you ever visited here, all complete. After having to go through the lava zone, aka Sea Dragon, 2 of them, and the plentiful hostile creatures such as the Ghost Leviathan, and more. Damn EMP crabs. Good thing for the prawn suit. And I have also noticed a pattern here regarding the enemy types in Subnautica, as we start from suicide bomber boomfish to massive 4-mandible fish to telepathically speaking giant. Yeah, game is kinda crazy, but have you noticed how we have left, and I quote, wonder and peril feeling into something that is better described by the community as horror? The reason for that is the next big thing on the list: sound and visuals. Now, we just talked about the beauty of Subnautica in terms of graphics and terrain, but what about the models and the thing that works with being sound? Here's where I play some clips for you to show you what I say and then say it. The game warns you of incoming enemies with sound cues, with some being tame while others a little more aggressive. And that is where we shift and find the true side of the game, and it's not horror, but rather terror. Now, to some of you that may not be surprising, but to those who are, let me explain. Horror is the reaction of something immediately popping up, for example any animatronic from Five Nights at Freddy's jump scaring you. Terror, on the other hand, is the knowledge or anticipation of something to come at you. Do you see where I'm going with this? Horror, though sure has an immediate effect on the player, it dulls down after enough experience. Terror, on the other hand, doesn't, for you know what is out there, but never the exact time it will come for you, therefore always leaving you with an uncertainty at the bare minimum for experienced veterans. And not only that, but good old Subnautica takes it a step further when it starts to make enemy fish hurt you but not kill you. This doesn't make you accustomed to a death sequence, therefore terror lingers, and that is all it needs to do. As such, you're not deterred from going to a place where you most likely won't be killed but scared and are being held by your own decision. Even in the game's boundary being the void, where there is literally nothing left but ginormous, aka fully grown ghost leviathans, which don't one-shot you but leave you vulnerable. Same with the juvenile version, Sea Dragon, and even the Reaper. Well, to be honest, the Reaper cares more about your sea moth rather than you, Because I swear that little shit is always coming after my fucking seat. And that kind of concludes all I wanted to say about the game's secret identity. Well, without making a 15-minute video. Thank you ladies and gents for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see ya in the next video. Peace.